Hi, this is Cynthia from Really Clear. I'm going to show you today how to Kitchener a sleeve onto a sweater. I'm making the sweater bottom up, and I'm going to actually put the sleeve in and Kitchener it before I start working my way up to the collar. I've already got the sleeve onto a double-pointed needle through the magic of video, and I'm going to put another double-pointed needle onto the sweater part. I put everything onto waste yarn because that way you can see what's going on more. So the stitch marker is where my center is. And if you're nervous, you can actually put the stitches on while the waste yarn is in there. I'm usually not this nervous, but I'll be nervous for you if you like. I want 6 stitches on each side of the stitch marker. Now I do need to take the waste yarn out of there, and I used a locking marker, so this is no problem. And I'm going to cut the waste yarn right in the center. Do not cut your sweater, be super careful about that. And I'm going to pull the waste yarn out. I'm actually going to tie the waste yarn to itself on each side so that nothing goes awry. I'm going to pull this one out. It doesn't have to be a good knot, it just has to be done. Now I have 12 stitches on the sweater needle, and I have 12 stitches on the sleeve needle. I've tucked my knitting needles down into the fabric just to get them out of the way, the needles that I have on the sleeve. And again, I have 12 stitches on each side. Now when you put a sleeve onto a sweater, you normally have it like this, right sides together with the arm dangling down from the side. But you can't Kitchener that way. You need to have wrong side to wrong side. So I'm gonna do a little somersault with the sleeve and just go like that, move it to the back. So now the wrong side of the sweater is against the wrong side or the inside of the sleeve. I can now Kitchener. To Kitchener, what you wanna do is slip the front stitch off. Some people call this knit off, and you're slipping it knitwise, and then you're going to go in purlwise and do what some people call purl on, and then pull your thread through. Leave a really long tail. You don't want your Kitchenering to come out. Then go to the back and make sure your working yarn is underneath the 2 needles, and this time you're going to purl the stitch off and knit the stitch and leave it on. You're not actually purling or knitting, you're just going in purlwise or knitwise. And now you're going to snug up those stitches. I'm going to kind of pull from both ends. You don't want to be tight, you just want to be snug. So I've done the front and the back, and now I'm going back to the front again. Knit off, purl on, and sew through. Notice how my thread is always underneath these 2 needles. Purl off in the back, knit on, sew through. You Kitchener like this for everything. Knit off, purl on, sew through. Get this out of the way. Purl off, knit on, sew through. Knit off, purl on, sew through. Some people sew through each stitch, but that will take you twice as long. I don't know about you, but I'm lazy. knit off, purl on, sew through. Purl, take it off, knit, keep it on, sew through. I'm controlling the stitches with my left index finger. I'm right-handed. Knit off, purl, leave it on, sew through. Purl, take it off, knit, leave it on, sew through. Now you should be able to start to see, isn't this cool? It just looks like any other kind of knit. It's magic. We were just in the back. I may have lost my place by talking, but I can see that I'm in the back, so now I go to the front. Knit off, purl on, sew through, and I want to make sure not to catch my needle. Purl off, knit on, sew through. And I know that I'm going to start by knitting in the front because that is sort of the knit side of the fabric. Knit off, purl on, sew through. And in the back, I'm looking at the purl fabric. If I open up these two needles, which I really don't want to, purl off, knit on, sew through. I read that somewhere. I'm sorry, I can't remember who you were who said that. Knit off, purl on, sew through. Purl off, knit on, sew through. Knit, purl, through, purl, knit, through, knit, purl, through. Let me move this up so I don't lose it. Purl, knit, through. Now, what do you do with the last two stitches? What would you do? Knit off. There's nothing to purl on, so you don't. Drop that needle. And then purl off. And there's nothing to knit, so you drop that needle. That's all there is to it. And I vote you go and you Kitchener your sleeves now. That way you don't have to Kitchener them later. And it's all done so that when you're done with the top of the sweater, that part is all taken care of and you don't have to think about it. I love doing things ahead of time.